Legion of Superheroes number 21, written by Paul Levitz, art by Jeff Johnson. So, last issue, Ultra Boy and Chameleon Lad return to Earth, and they see that Persuader's been there just wrecking everything and killing everybody. And this issue picks up with the crew that were in the spaceship, Brainiac 5 and co. Apparently, the quark relays are working again. They're just like, sure. They're just, oh, hey, yeah, they're working, and we're able to see this hologram of the Persuader taking out everybody, and they're super upset by that, and they're like, all right, well, what are we going to do? Now that the quark relays are going on, what's going on? And Brainiac 5 thinks through for a second, and he's like, okay, there might be a possibility of, like, us being able to go and help before the quark relays fade out again. So they go through hyperspace or whatever. Back to Earth, Persuader is fighting against Chameleon Lad and Ultra Boy. Chameleon Lad turns into a giant, and I say lad, it might be kid, I can't remember. But he's turns into a giant snake, and Persuader just chokes him out. Like, that's the whole fight. And then Ultra Boy's throwing rocks at Persuader. And, by the way, I don't know what Persuader's power set is, but all I'm gathering for this is he's strong and he has a giant axe that's kind of magic. So, take that with what you will. And he's fighting against Ultra Boy. And Ultra Boy's like, the Legion will never give up, we'll never surrender. And Persuader's like, dude, it doesn't matter if you never give up, never surrender. We've killed, like, so many of you. You don't understand. You're not winning this. And he says, well, our leader will come up with a plan. Tinian will come up with a plan. Phantom Girl. And he says, Phantom Girl left. She faded back to her own dimension. She's gone. And Ultra Boy's like, oh, that's a bit disheartening. So at that point, we see back inside the ship, I don't know her name. One of the female Legionnaires is looking after Mon-El inside of, like, the tube full of healing juice. And he's just like, oh, I won't let go of him. Please, there has to be something we can do. And then Chemical Lad shows up and is like, hey, Brainiac told me to come down here and, like, do some biological stuff in the healing tube. And he gets at that. And then this girl goes over to Dream Girl and says, like, hey, do you see any, like, visions of the future where Mon-El is, alive? And she's like, I'm not looking in the future because my boyfriend might be dead. Like, my husband, whatever our relationship was. Everything is grimdark right now. So, last issue we also had, I think it's like Polar Boy or whatever, and then Invisible Kid. They went into a realm of the dead or something, and they see a bunch of dead Legionnaires there, and they're like, okay, well, maybe we made a mistake if we're in the land of the dead. And the dead Legionnaires are just like, oh, you guys can go back whenever you want. Like, there's no big deal there. But know this, if you go back, you may be stuck back here forever. AKA you will die, if that wasn't clear. So we go back to the battlefield, and Persuader's about to attack Ultra Boy, who's super sad about Phantom Girl leaving. And then I think the Legionnaires who were on the ship show up, and they're like, hey, Persuader, get out of here. And they start trying to launch an attack, but Persuader is just too super strong for them all to take on. And he throws down his axe, and a bunch of, like, earthquakes and stuff happen that disrupt all the Legionnaires. And Brainiac's protecting the ship from the attack, and Cosmic Boy, Lad? I don't know. Kid in a purple suit. I really cannot overstate how frustrating it is that this trade removes the little text boxes that say who they are each issue. It is the worst. So at that point, they see the entire city is being destroyed, and Tharok shows up in a hologram, and he's like, haha, Legionnaires, I only let the quark relays come back in order to get you to come here. Now I'm going to kill y'all. And I've brought along Emerald Empress, and she's just there, and she's like, hi, everybody. So it's 3 of the Fatal 5 against the remaining Legionnaires. There's a little bit of a standoff. What's his name here starts trying to make a crystal cage around Emerald Empress again. And it's like, oh, I put you in an Inertron cage before. I don't know how you got out, but you ain't getting out a second time. And then she just immediately teleports out and just like, Yeah, it's something that Tharok can do. He controls digispace, so I can just teleport now. And so he gets blasted. The military shows up and immediately gets destroyed by Emerald Empress. And then we see Tharok, who he's taunting Brainiac 5 because all the other Legionnaires are now inside his little force field bubble. And he's like, dude, you're not making it out of this. Like, I control all of technology. It's too much for you. Even you can't do anything about that. And Brainiac's like, well, the Persuader and the Emerald Empress couldn't get through my impenetrable force field, and neither will you, Tharok. And he's like, click. Hey, I turned off your force field. And then they just, like, destroy them. I'm sure not actually dead, but, like, it looks pretty fatal. And then Emerald Empress says, no one is here to stop us anymore. We win. But then showing up in the background is Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad. And they say, over our dead bodies, and also their dead bodies. Their many, many, many dead bodies. So, yeah. It's okay. This is part 1 of the final arc. It's called Endings Part 1. So, like, it feels big. It does feel like we have been setting this up for a while. We've been teasing at this Fatal 5 stuff. That being said, this doesn't feel like it's any different than the last, like, 4 issues. This just feels like one mega-sized arc, and this is just where we're getting to the quote-unquote final battles of it. It's not bad inherently. It just doesn't feel like it's its own special thing, you know? I'm kind of getting like a version of event fatigue, but it's specifically for just this one arc in this one book where I feel like we've been on this train for too long, and I want it to get to where it's going already. So we do have 2 more issues of this, and I can see them stretching it out that long. If we have the final issues be epilogue and the next to final issue be here's how we won the fight, or lost even, because hey, they're ending it. It could go either way. So I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it a 7. Because I'm able to follow it. And that speaks volumes to this book. Like, in fact, okay, that's unfair. For an objective thing, I'm giving it 6.5. Because to say that I can follow it and give it a 7 is just unfair to every other book. It's like, oh, if you do badly enough to start with, I'll just give you 10s as long as I can read the words on the page. So I'll give this one a 6.5, but a big contributing factor of it is that I'm kind of just happy it's ending. I'm kind of happy we're just wrapping this up, and we're focused at that. We're very focused on this specific plot in this specific place. We're all going to Earth, and I enjoy that. That's much more useful to me than 17 plots all ongoing with characters I don't know the names of. So yeah, 6.5. Legion.